Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Just as a reminder, tomorrow is the last show of the year. Come one, come all, because it's all you're getting until the beginning of January. So don't say I didn't warn you, folks. All right. So I want to get the panel in here in a few minutes to come in and talk about, I don't know if you guys saw this. We'll get into it. I don't know if you guys saw this. Breaking news this afternoon. Gavin Newsom didn't learn his lesson during the COVID era, and he has declared a state of emergency in California because of the bird flu. We'll get into that. I have some thoughts. But first, before we bring them in, I want to cover something that I think has been largely uncovered with the mainstream media, but incredibly important, because here at Blaze Media, we like to remind people as often as possible, and rightfully so, where you get your news from. Right now, in 2024, about to be 2025, has never been more important, okay? Because this is like third world level moves going on. Now it appears the Biden regime may have paid the press outlet Reuters for negative press coverage on their political adversary. Now, you may think that I'm talking about Donald Trump, and we all know that Reuters does, of course, go after Donald Trump. But what I'm talking about specifically here is actually Elon Musk, who I know the left likes to say, oh my gosh, he's actually the real vice president. He is. So they do see him as their political adversary. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Let's go through this. In May, 2024, just this year, a few months ago, Reuters won 2 Pulitzer Prizes, okay? Reuters awarded Pulitzer Prizes for photo coverage of Israel-Gaza war and investigations of Elon Musk's businesses. Oh, wow. What a reason to win a Pulitzer Prize. Now, one of their, the Pulitzer series here is The Musk Industrial Complex. This was a series of hit pieces that alleged misconduct at SpaceX, Neuralink, and Tesla. So I want to go through some of these, the headlines of these hit pieces, okay? At SpaceX, worker injuries soar in Elon Musk's rush to Mars. Now, within that particular investigation, they reported 1 death at SpaceX, and they said just a plethora of other worker injuries. The Neuralink one, U.S. regulators rejected Elon Musk's bid to test brain chips in humans, citing safety risks. So that one also went on to tug at the human heartstrings, talking about mistreatment of animals at his brain implant company, Neuralink. Now, they also, of course, included Tesla, as I mentioned. Tesla blamed drivers for failures of parts it long knew were defective. Now, this particular investigation said that Tesla covered up dangerous defects. They said Tesla created a secret team to suppress thousands of driving range complaints, which, they went on to say rigged their car's dashboard driving range estimates. And I guess, at that point, you're supposed to conclude that Tesla was the devil. But there was more. They said Tesla workers shared sensitive images recorded by customers' cars. So this series of, all of these hit pieces against Elon Musk prompted investigations in both the United States and Europe, and calls for action from United States lawmakers, which we saw in the political lawfare against Elon Musk. We'll get into that. So now we see, after knowing Reuters, oh my gosh, Reuters, wow, round of applause for that investigative work. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, also apparently the devil. Well, now we find out the Biden regime actually paid Reuters over $300 million in government contracts. Let me break that down for you. The Department of Justice, the DOJ, $62 million. The SEC, $12 million. The Equal Employment Commission, $9 million. Department of Labor, $4 million. FCC, $4 million. Call it 4.5. Department of Agriculture, $3 million. FTC, $3 million. National Labor Relations, $2 million, close to $3 million. DOT, $2 million. EPA, Department of Interior, both roughly $2 million. I, of course, was rounding on those. Okay. Now, so you look at those particular agencies. Well, I mentioned the lawfare. 11 different Biden government agencies then targeted Elon's businesses, all the ones you just heard about. Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and X, which also, by the way, had hit pieces written against that as well. The X, the white supremacist platform, were those hit pieces. So between 2021 and 2025, those 11 agencies paid millions of dollars to Reuters. Now, one might say, well, that it was totally unrelated. It was completely unrelated. Well, I mean, I'm just saying multiple departments within that list and independent agencies, including the Department of Justice, which was at the very top of that list, gave the most amount of money. The Department of Transportation, the Labor Department, were all simultaneously involved in oversight of the investigations, in the investigations themselves, or in the legal action against Elon Musk's businesses. And that, of course, ranged from, because they're targeting him, they're attacking him from all different sides. So whether they're alleging labor law violations and environmental compliance, whether they're alleging that he broke safety protocols at manufacturing plants, they were all working in conjunction to target Elon Musk, the world's greatest entrepreneur, the richest man in the world, because he is the greatest entrepreneur. They were all working at the same time to target him. So the coordinated nature of these actions, I would say, combined with, Reuters' Pulitzer Prize winning coverage, could make one speculate maybe, was there an agenda going on? Well, Elon, what would you say? Could we see what Elon has to say? Yes, this explains a lot. Shame on Reuters, paid propaganda. So he says the Pulitzer Prize was awarded for articles that were cruel and absurd lies, by the way. I believe him. I believe him because I have seen how the Biden regime runs. I have seen what they do to their political opponents, and I have seen them demonstrate that they believe Elon Musk to be their political opponent, to be their political adversary. So you may be asking yourself, why in the world is my hard-earned taxpayer money being funneled into media companies that claim that they're unbiased, but then they go on to attack Joe Biden's political adversary, Elon Musk? You may also be thinking to yourself, it reminds me of, oh gosh, what are the countries? China? North Korea? Russia? Turkey? Cuba? Maybe Vietnam? I mean, these are all like, if you know anything about history or about the state of the world, these are not countries that you want your media to look like. You don't want your media to operate like China's media. I mean, unless you're a communist and then you're like, cool, that's great. And yet, nobody wants to report on this. This should be a nationwide scandal that this is happening. You don't see it on Fox News. You don't see it on CNN. You certainly don't see it being reported by Rachel Maddow, or is that Chris Hayes? I don't know. I always get the two confused. On MSNBC. This should be a giant scandal. I mean, this is like, the media is supposed to be the watchman, right? So who is watching the watchman? Nobody. When it comes to the mainstream media, anyway. Now, when it comes to a company like Blaze, when it comes to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, everybody's watching us. You get demonetized from YouTube, right? You don't get to run ads. Yeah, by the way, thank you. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, because we make $0 from this program on YouTube. We are providing this for free on YouTube. Not asking for your money on YouTube, just asking you to hit a button, subscribe, hit another button, like this video, share it with a friend, okay? Because it seems to me like we're the only ones willing to tell the truth these days. If you're Reuters, even the Associated Press, these press agencies that used to be considered completely unbiased, not anymore, folks. Everybody has an agenda, and money talks. Money talks, okay? So I would just ask, by the way, if you have the means, subscribe to Blaze Media. If you don't, totally understand. We're all living in Joe Biden's economy. It's tough out there in Joe Biden's economy. At least subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our audio podcast. You can do that for free. And you can also stand in solidarity with us, seemingly the only people willing to tell the truth. So we would appreciate it very much. All right, we got to take a quick break. We will be back with more. I want to talk about Gavin Newsom. All of a sudden, we're in guys. This is deja vu we're feeling. Okay, this is deja vu. No, don't pinch yourself. You're not dreaming. There is another state of emergency for an incoming pandemic, according to California Governor Gavin Newsom. We'll get into that. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Birch Gold. So if you open a gold IRA with Birch Gold Group, you will get free silver coins shipped directly to your home. They call it the most wonderful time of the year. And you think that they do that because it's Christmas. It's actually because it's the time of year when Birch Gold gives away a free silver American Eagle coin for every $5,000 purchased. You're not going to pay a penny out of pocket. There's no reason not to go talk to these folks. Okay, by December 20th, that is 2 days away. All right. By December 20th, simply convert an existing IRA or a 401k into a tax sheltered IRA in precious metals, and they're going to send you free silver coins directly to your home. Now, I'm not a financial expert. They are. I done business with Birch Gold. They made it very, very easy for us. We had a wonderful, wonderful experience with Birch Gold. So I'm just telling you, text the word Sarah to 989898. They're going to send you this free information kit on gold and silver. It's just information. There's no obligation. There's no reason not to do it. Okay. But there is a reason to act now. You got to do it by December 20th in order to get the deal with the free silver coins. So text the word Sarah, that's S-A-R-A, there's no H, that's just an unnecessary letter. Text the word Sarah to 989898. I want to welcome to the show. We've got Steve Baker back in the house, Blaze Media's own investigative journalist, along with Jason Buttrill, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program, who I will just say has been boycotting my show. I don't know why.
Fake news.
I thought I was blacklisted for a while, but
True.
We're so grateful, Jason. You could take the time to be here today.
If you can still hear me, I just sound nasally and nerdy. It's because I was sick.
I always sound nerdy.
I go through a little phase where it sounds very sexy. Like the voice gets way down there on the verge of losing it.
And gravelly.
It's amazing. My wife loves it.
Yeah, and now you just sound like shit.
Like a dork.
I'm kidding. So I want to get to everyone's favorite sissy, Justin Trudeau. But before we do, I do want to get to everyone's second favorite sissy, Gavin Newsom, Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who has just declared a state of emergency this afternoon in California as the H5N1 bird flu threatens pandemic, is the headline, in chilling echo of COVID dark days. Now, they say that they're worried that it could jump to people, start to spread. Now, this is hours after an American, okay, I just want to, an American, A-N, so that indicates one. Okay. An American in Louisiana was hospitalized with a severe case of the H5N1 bird flu for the first time. And they say that California has recorded over half of all bird flu infections detected in humans this year, 32 out of the 61 total. So around half, 32 out of the 61 total cases, according to the CDC. Now, Gavin Newsom says this is just to make sure government agencies have the resources and flexibility they need to respond quickly. But I have PTSD, gentlemen. I have PTSD.
You know, one of my favorite books of all time is a book called The White Plague. Came out in the late mid-'70s. It was written by the same guy that wrote Dune, Frank Herbert. And it was about a bioengineered, weaponized disease that only killed women. So what Switzerland did is they just burned all their bridges, all of their access points into the country, and would kill anybody that tried to get across.
I would do the same.
Can we do that in Texas?
Yeah.
Before we go through another COVID.
That's reasonable. That's a reasonable approach, I would say.
Yeah, you're threatening my chicks. I'm burning bridges and stuff.
Right.
What's crazy now is I think that COVID taught us so much about what the government wants to do, what they're itching to get it accomplished. Mm-hmm. And yeah, all this does is just enable us to do more draconian lockdowns like what we did before. Yeah, well, okay, we got it. We know. We lived through that. I'm looking at everything now as more excuses to do the same thing. Call me a tinfoil hat wearer, but this whole drone thing, I'm going to kind of skip around on topics here. The whole drone thing has me looking at that as far as, okay, what is the government trying to inoculate us, for? What are they trying to get us primed to accept? And all those rumors and theories about how they're sniffing out, nuclear, energy or,
Not happening.
All that stuff. It's like, what would it take for the government to say, look, yeah, well, these are the steps that we need to take. We really need to do contact tracing on nuclear, material that we have found in a certain area. Just don't worry about all the surveillance. That's here to stay. It's for your protection. Mm-hmm. And those vaccine passports that we're now modifying for also in case you ever got in contact with any kind of nuclear material. We're going to have that implemented now as well. Sounds crazy, I know, but then COVID did happen. Mm-hmm. Things are happening now in California. Obviously, that's got to be your mindset going forward. It's got to be. It's just got to be.
Yeah.
But even in England, they've already implemented system-wide mask, usage again in the health, departments, the medical community, the hospitals. They're forcing masks back on, and I think for COVID season. I mean, this is the season, to be COVID-y.
Well, I will add to that. It may also be for H5N1 because I'm reading here. Every time you see something like this, I jump straight to, is there a vaccine they're trying to sell us? Okay, so let me just read you. December 2024, the UK government, not us yet, the UK government announced the purchase of 5 million doses of human H5 influenza vaccine to boost the country's resilience in the event of a possible H5 influenza pandemic. June 2024, the European Commission signed a 4-year contract with CSL Seqirus to secure 665,000 pre-pandemic vaccines. I mean, May 2024, that same company was selected by the U.S. government to supply 4.8 million doses of an H5 vaccine to the National Pre-Pandemic Influenza Vaccine Stockpile Program. That was May 2024. And now, today, we're declaring state of emergencies over this particular bird flu.
And if it's an emergency, then the government will fund it. And
correct. Exactly right.
Everybody gets their money.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And if, you get new, like this new omnibus, spending bill, you'll get more of these vaccine companies with no liability whatsoever. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be held accountable, in case anything comes out after the fact that they were dangerous.
Right. So just watch.
Changed.
No, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Just watch. They're going to start talking about more public-private partnerships with these vaccine companies because the U.S. government has got to buy up all of the stock to protect their people. And then they're going to push it on you. I mean, the same song and dance that you heard 4 years ago. Just watch. Just watch. So let me switch gears here and let's talk about what's going on with Justin Trudeau. So there's a lot going on. All right. There's reports that he's considering resigning. And of course, Donald Trump is pushing all of these tariffs on Canada, on Mexico, on anyone who doesn't fall in line, seemingly. And turns out he's not even in office. And just the mere threat, just the verbal threat that he is going to do these things is forcing a lot of their hands, including Canada. Let me read this headline. Canada announces new border funding after Trump tariff threat. So now they're already, I think it's like $1 billion that they're already saying they're going to spend on their border because Donald Trump threatened to make Justin Trudeau the 51st state of the country. I want to play a little.
Gay North Dakota's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? The new 51st state, Gay North Dakota.
I love that.
That's from the Babylon Bee.
All right, let's go ahead and let's refresh our memories on Donald Trump threatening Canada. Watch.
I spoke with Justin Trudeau. In fact, he flew to Mar-a-Lago within about 15 seconds after the call ended. He was at Mar-a-Lago. We were having dinner talking about it. I said, you have to close up your borders because they're coming in the northern border, too, a lot. Not like the southern border, but they're coming in the Canadian border a lot. And drugs are pouring in. Almost as importantly, drugs are pouring in. Maybe more importantly, drugs are pouring in at levels never seen before, 10 times what we had. They're just pouring in. We can't have open borders. And I said to the president of Mexico and to Justin Trudeau, if it doesn't stop, I'm going to put tariffs on your country at about 25%.
You notice he's not giving cute nicknames as much as he used to anymore. I was I just really hoped he would start calling him Fidel Trudeau or something like that.
Yeah, I do miss that.
Because then
Fidel Jr.
That would be the knife.
Yeah, I do miss that. I don't know why he decided not to do that, but I would like that back, please.
Yes.
I would like to see what he comes up with for Justin Trudeau.
The threats that he's throwing out are very real. I have no doubt that he is going to come through on a lot of this stuff, and people.
Donald Trump loves tariffs.
Yeah, and he
said it for a very long time,
and he definitely loves threatening them. And he's.
I'm saying he wouldn't be scared to actually implement them.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
and it's not as out of the realm of possibilities that a lot of people like to talk about. Like a lot of people will say, well, like, it's only a negotiating tactic. Well, I agree. It's first and foremost a negotiating tactic because do this or else you're going to get them, and most people fold. But a vast majority of the population of the United States does not know that tons and tons of the world still operates on a tariff system that was put in place right after World War II. In fact, if you look at just auto tariffs coming over from Europe, you will get enraged, infuriated when you look at, why are American cars being tariffed so hard when other cars like Mercedes and all the BMWs and all this stuff is coming over here with a quarter of the tariff?
100% in Denmark and that sort of thing. So we can't sell cars.
Those are World War II era policies. Why are they still in effect?
Right.
We want to talk tariffs? Let's start there.
Right.
Good
Right.
gosh.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of drama going on within the Canadian government. You had the finance minister, who was this Chrystia Freeland, who resigned just earlier this week. She was the one who froze all of the truckers' accounts.
Yep.
During COVID.
Chick.
Yes. Clearly, well, I would call it an illegal move. Did the courts ever rule on that, Jason? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that either. But illegal. Can we all agree evil if we can't agree illegal? But she resigned and she said our country today faces a grave challenge. The incoming administration in the U.S. is pursuing a policy of aggressive economic nationalism, including a threat of 25% tariffs. We need to take that threat extremely seriously. Yeah. That means keeping our fiscal powder dry today so that we may have reserves that we may need for a tariff war. So she's resigning. Everyone's pissed off in Canada. Everyone wants Justin Trudeau to, well, I shouldn't say everyone. The sane people want Justin Trudeau to step down. There have been reports that surfaced that he's considering resigning. And I want to play some of the what Canadians are saying to Justin Trudeau. Watch.
Prime Minister, are you going to remain in office, sir?
No, what gives you the right to continue? What gives you the right to stay in office? You failed Canada. You ruined our country. You're done. Walk away. You don't have an ounce of your father's integrity. At least he walked in the snow. You've ruined this country. Everyone around you is running from you. You're abandoning you. Christian Freeland, Sean Fraser, they've all left you. It's time for you to go. It's time for Canada to have an election. You're not the king.
Woof. That is awkward for him. That's embarrassing. Did you guys see? I'm not going to repeat what was said because I don't want YouTube to kick us off forever. But did you see the guy that was jogging, the young man who was jogging next to Justin Trudeau?
Oh, yes.
So good. He called him a not nice word. I'm just going to leave that right there.
Right to his face.
Right to his face.
And surprisingly, neither this guy or that guy were arrested because typically that's what happens in Canada.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And in England, I mean, we just saw another arrest, 3:00 in the morning raid because a guy posted on his Facebook page that he didn't want Palestinian flags flying in his neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point.
Something that simple.
Yeah. Our friend Ezra Levant over at Rebel News.
Right, exactly.
He has great experience in getting arrested and detained by the Canadian police because they really don't like it when you share your opinion.
Right. Yeah. Ezra he's a knight, man.
Yeah, he is.
In armor. He the amount of lawsuits that he's won, I don't know if that's even a lot of public knowledge, but he pretty much stacks up those court battle wins nonstop. Pretty insane. But I'm curious, what is his actual approval rating? Because I feel like we had Ezra on radio like a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday, and he was talking about his historically low approval rating right now. And I can't see anything positive being said about Trudeau right now.
I'm looking for it.
Anything. And that's almost, it seems like all over the world right now. If you are this like crazy far left government, every single one of them is just toppling like dominoes.
Mm-hmm. You might want to look at that approval rating by culling out Quebec from that total, because once you get outside of there, it has to be in the 20s maybe or less.
And I'm seeing it's already under 30.
So it's under 30 as it is. And that's
As it is.
That's including Quebec?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that's tracking. That was like Biden and our Democratic Party. That's that's all over the world right now. There is a huge populist battle going on right now. And it's been foretold for a while. I remember Steve Bannon was talking about this a while back. He was like, this is going to come to a head. You are going so far to the left. There is going to be a war of ideas. It's just going to be laid out there. And the people of the entire world are going to say, either we're going this way or we're going that way. And right now, it seems like the move is pretty obvious.
It says Abacus data poll. Only 19% want him to stay on as prime minister.
Holy.
Good gosh.
Do they actually use an abacus?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not what you want, Justin. That's not a good number. So, and by the way, it couldn't happen to a more deserving person, I would just like to say. All right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more, but I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, Fox and Odin. So I'm going to make this very easy for you guys. We love Flying Aces whiskey here. Fox and Odin is their sister company or their brother company. However, I don't know what gender whiskey is, but whatever it is, Fox and Odin is also delicious. Remember, these are American made. Okay, American distilled. They use the finest ingredients to craft ultra premium whiskeys that are rich, complex, and unforgettable. They're rooted in Michigan, by the way. So I'm just saying, now's the time. You're about to enter the holidays with your family. And when your family comes around, you're going to want to make sure you're stocked up on whiskey. Need I say more? No, I won't. Mother-in-law coming over? Get whiskey. Brother coming over? Get whiskey. That crazy uncle that always is inappropriate, get whiskey, okay? foxandodin.com. Use promo code America for free shipping. That is foxandoden.com. Promo code America for free shipping. So how's this for a 180-degree turn? Okay, Joe Biden is now endorsing a ban on stock trading for members of Congress. Now, let's just go ahead and revisit 2022 when Jen Psaki, as the White House press secretary, stated that Joe Biden, listen, he doesn't need to weigh in, okay? He's just going to leave it up to Congress to, the people who are financially benefiting from this said thing. He wanted to just leave it up to them to decide the issue of stock trading. Watch.
Does the president think that members of Congress should be prohibited from trading stocks? The president is prohibited from doing this. So where does he stand on this? And should their spouses be too?
The president didn't trade individual stocks when he was a senator. That is how he approached things. He also believes that everyone should be held to the highest standard, but he'll let members of the leadership in Congress and members of Congress determine what the rules should be.
Everyone should be held to the highest standards. Isn't that cute? Isn't it cute? It's so cute if anyone believes that Joe Biden actually thinks that. So let's go ahead and fast forward to yesterday. Here's what Joe Biden had to say on stock trading.
One of the things I've found most admirable about you, Mr. President, you came into the Senate in 1972. People didn't follow stock trades, and you could have, if you wanted to get wealthy. You could have gone in early on Google and Boeing and Microsoft and NVIDIA and Amazon. You could have been an early investor. You didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't own any stocks for that whole period of time. When nobody was looking, there was no stock act, nobody was checking you. Why?
Because he was making money from Burisma and China.
For 36 years, I was listed as the poorest man in the Senate.
You changed that, didn't you, Joe?
You know that listing they had? I mean, in Congress, not the Senate, House and Senate. Yeah. I never thought I was poor. I had a salary that a senator made. But, I don't know how you look your constituents in the eye and know because the job they gave you gave you an inside track to make more money. No. I think we should be changing the law that we have to, but we abide by at the federal level, that nobody in the Congress should be able to make money in the stock market while they're in the Congress.
Okay. Admirable, right? Very admirable. Both of you, I know, are just chomping at the bit to say something. Jason, you did many a special. You've written many a special for Glenn on Joe Biden financially benefiting during his time in office, which is approximately 250 years in office. But yet, he wasn't stock trading. Isn't that cute? The interviewer is like, what I find admirable about you is that you didn't make your money from stock trading. You actually made it from shady business deals with foreign countries, which of course makes our national security more vulnerable with you as president. And I just find that really admirable about you.
That's so admirable. And what he's really doing is he's doing a service to his fellow, lawmakers in Washington, D.C. He's showing them how you actually do it and not be so blatantly obvious about it. You don't make stock moves. You don't pull like a Dan Crenshaw or
Sure.
something like that.
Sure.
Or you don't pull a Nancy Pelosi and have your husband do it. What you do is you stay out of the stock market and you just do shady business deals overseas, and you have your son do it.
You have your shell companies.
Shell
do
companies. See, he needs to teach a class. He can
You
teach a class on this.
You're so dumb just trading stocks. Instead, just make the shell companies and make it harder for people to see that it's you. And then you can make millions, guys.
His next line must have been like, let me tell you something about an LLC and how they actually work and how Cyprus is better to put it than, say, the Grand Caymans. Right. Something like that. What a moron. This just cracks me up. The worst self-awareness I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Absolutely. And I love the fact that he's like coming out with it now. You know, like there'll be other people too. Watch Nancy Pelosi. Show this huge thing like, I support this.
No way.
I also tell you that I'm not running for re-election.
Exactly. Because there's speculation that maybe he is doing this because it's just like one final middle finger to Nancy Pelosi, because you mentioned Nancy Pelosi has generated significant wealth from stock trading. It's all just a coincidence. I don't actually see any of the stocks that we're trading. It's just, it's not me. It's my husband, Paul. Well, they earned a 65% return in 2023. Good. She traded nearly $4 million in stocks this year, and her estimated wealth is $250 million, despite Congress's salary being, $173,000? So something strange is going on, okay? And we all know...
She's just that lucky.
I'm just very lucky. I'm just very lucky. So, knowing what we know about Nancy Pelosi being in on the coup when they replaced Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, which... how'd that turn out for you guys?
But that's
liberal tears.
That is absolutely a fact, though, that most of Biden's constituency does not see through the fact that when they honor him by saying you didn't trade stocks, that there are so many other financial instruments or so many other corporate trust things that can be traded, especially the ones that they have set up overseas, that are doing this for them anyway. It's happening regardless of whether it's in his name or not. And that's how he gets by with it. But they all do. And Trump even said so. I mean, look, that was one of the things that, like Dave Chappelle, made him, a star is born. That speech he made on SNL. He said Trump got up there and said, why do I know? Because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to, let's play a quick flashback here, and then I want to get your thoughts, Jason. Let's play back in 2012. Nancy Pelosi being asked about buying pre-IPO Visa shares while, being Speaker of the House. Watch.
I wanted to ask you why you and your husband back in March of 2008 accepted and participated in a very large IPO deal from Visa at a time there was major legislation affecting their credit card companies making its way through the House. And did you consider that to be a conflict of interest?
I don't know what your point is of your question. Is there some point that you want to make with that?
Yeah, he asked it.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's all right for a speaker to accept a very preferential and favorable stock deal?
Well, we didn't.
And you participated in the IPO.
Well, I have many
and at the time you were Speaker of the House. You don't think it was a conflict of interest or had the appearance of a conflict of interest?
It only has the appearance if you decide that you're going to have elaborate on a false premise. But it's not true, and that's that.
I don't understand what part's not true.
Yes, sir. That I would act upon an investment. Yes.
Oh, I miss spunky Nancy. She was spunky. Now she can barely keep her teeth in.
She can't walk.
She what? Can or can't?
Walk.
Yeah, homegirl had to get a new hip.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. She fell down a marble staircase.
I think.
Oh, that marble gets you every time.
I think that people like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden were they must have pissed a lot of people off in Washington, D.C., the entire establishment. Joe Biden was on, the end of, having your family do all of these like influence deals based off of your position, in the government and, using that to become millionaires. You're not supposed to be that blatant about it. It's, I guess you're not supposed to be that blatant in the same vein of just don't have your crackhead son, You know, you don't have him be the poster child for it and then draw his media attention. But how many people in the U.S. government are doing the same thing? I'm sure the list is very long. It's very distinguished.
It's very deep. It goes down
very deep
through the secretariat, down to the deputies, down to the assistants, down to the, you know, and all of that at that level. If you're an appointee and you're in power over these massive, whether it's DOD and you're in charge of awarding contracts or things of that nature, you probably need to have some limitation on what you're able to do.
Yeah,
especially in trading.
And it goes so deep. You look at all the random people that even on the GOP side that just greenlight all of this like Ukraine funding just out of nowhere. Like you're like, wait a minute, didn't you run on no wars and stuff like that? But all of a sudden you're all about it. Well, why? Well, when you look on some of the things that they're greenlighting, like TOW missiles and anti-tank missiles, when you go look at how much those suckers go for a pop, every single one of them probably like 10 to 20 million dollars a pop, and they're getting sent over in the thousands. That's a whole lot of money. Someone's getting paid a lot of money to keep this war going. Right. But it's also like, Nancy Pelosi, she was on the other end for, you're that blatant. No one believes that you are just blessed with that much luck. No one believes it.
What are you talking about, Jason?
I mean, she's doing these NVIDIA deals, right? And then she's like, hey, I'm going to go to Taiwan. Just for the hell of it.
I just love the view.
Just love it. It's like the people, and the food is amazing. I'm just going to go and talk to the people that make these chips.
I love Taiwanese.
Just Taiwanese food is amazing.
We need to get you a vodka soda.
And I'm very up. This is just water. Ugh.
But how could you be that blatant about it and still get away with it? And the reason being is because they're all doing it.
Yeah. Right.
They have no intention of changing this.
Right.
At all.
Right. Yeah.
So criminal.
It is. It's really disgusting to watch. But don't forget, it was very admirable of Joe Biden.
Yes.
To not be a stock trader.
Oh, yeah.
He cared to enrich his family by putting our national security at risk. So admirable. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We will be back with more, but we want to remind you guys, Angel Studios is our sponsor of this segment. We want to remind you guys, if you're going to do anything with family this weekend, whenever you're joining with family, go see the new movie Homestead. It is out by Angel Studios, and Angel Studios their goal is to give you woke-free content that you can take your whole family to. All right. So this one is no different. It is about a nuclear blast that devastates Los Angeles. Oh, that's so sad. And an ex-Green Beret. I know there's going to be some of you, I live in Los Angeles. Why would you? It's a joke. Okay. So it's about an ex-Green Beret and his family who seek refuge at a doomsday fortress in the mountains. Obviously, there's going to be some drama. There's going to be some suspense. Okay. But more importantly, make sure that you're supporting parallel economy. Make sure you're supporting, companies that support you. And you can get your tickets now at angel.com/Sarah. Like I said, you guys are joining together for Christmas. Go see this. It is Homestead in theaters December 20th. Angel.com/Sarah. Get your tickets now at angel.com/Sarah. I'm sorry. I just need a minute. Guys, I'm reading that Disney has removed a trans-centered storyline from their upcoming animated series, Win or Lose. Yes.
Dang it.
They're removing it due to public backlash. And now they will not have the story featuring a transgender player. They have fully removed the story arc. The character will still appear in the series, but will be straight. Will be straight and not have a major focus.
You're brave for getting through this.
Thank you.
Who plays the character? A trans person?
Yes.
So the trans person is going to have to play a straight
that is
non-trans person?
Heterosexual appropriation, and I don't think that is very acceptable.
Well, they have to play their biological sex or
Well, Steve, you've made it too difficult for me to work out, and I don't have a flow chart, so I don't know. Okay?
Inquiring minds want to know.
These are very good questions, but it's too confusing to know. All right? So Disney actually put out a statement. They said, you guys are going to love this. When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their terms and timeline. So now you may be thinking, oh, that's great. Disney Well, it seems like something Disney should have known for a very long time. And they continued putting out LGBT movies that have totally bombed at the box office. And so then they have had to take a step back and say, oh, maybe Lightyear wasn't the wisest thing to put in a gay storyline. Maybe Onward and Strange World, it wasn't a great idea to put in the LGBT storylines because they lost money on those. And so don't think for 1 second that Disney cares about what you want to teach your kids. They're just after the bottom dollar and they're losing money. And so they have been forced now to remove this trans storyline. My opinion.
Now they recognize it?
Now they recognize the importance of parental, guidance and wanting to teach your child the same. Listen, you'll teach your child to be trans in your own time. Okay? You just need to do it on your own timeline, Jason.
So before they didn't recognize it, before we were getting leaked, conversations from their Zoom meetings talking about how it was that not so. How did that one chick describe it? She thought that she was going to have to be like sneaky and sneak this stuff in, but then she realized that, oh no, this is what we're doing. We're just shoving these narratives down America's throats. But now they recognize it. I wonder what changed. I wonder.
Reverse cancel culture, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, maybe losing gazillions of dollars and tons of Disney Plus subscriptions. Maybe that's what did it.
Let's look at the Endgame. Was their top grossing movie, $858 million, compared to, let's just say, Strange World, which had an LGBT storyline, $39 million. A little bit of a disparity there. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
I would say, and that's why I said what I said a moment ago. I'm a big fan of this reversal in cancel culture right now. I interviewed, he sat in on your show the other day, Shim Von Schreck from Basis for Toto and Kenny Loggins. He was with Kenny Loggins for 27 years. He said there was a time when they were on tour with Kenny Loggins that every musician in the band was conservative. Kenny was the only liberal in the band. The rest of the band, the 8 guys, were all conservatives. And he said, but it was never an issue because we never talked about it. It was it was nothing that needed to be pushed or discussed or whatever. And everybody got along. And so if they will just stop doing it, stop shoving it down everybody's throat, we can go back to getting along.
Yeah, it's funny. I won't identify them because I don't know if they want to be identified, but I'm friends with people. We were just talking about them yesterday or the day before in a particular band. And if they're watching, shout out. But during the Black Lives Matter stuff, they didn't post the black square. And I mean, people went berserk. Their fans went crazy because they're like, what? You have to post the black square. And it's just wild because it's like 20 years ago, you never expected a musician or an actor or whoever to involve themselves in politics. Like it was unheard of. And now you get canceled if you don't. Yeah. It's crazy to me how far it's gone. How quickly the tables have turned on that, but money talks.
They still haven't realized that the entire problem with this, especially just not just with Disney, with every single movie,
like 30 seconds,
right now, is if you want to make those kinds of movies, you can make those kinds of movies, and I don't think most people will even have an issue with them. If you want to make an issue about a trans, whoever, whatever, make that movie.
Yeah,
there's no issue with that.
Sneak it in.
Don't sneak it in into every single thing. As if you're trying to hypnotize the country or something. Right. That's the issue that we have.
Yes. Yeah. It's called indoctrinating, and we don't want that for our kids. All right. Couldn't happen to a more deserving movie studio. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. One of the saddest parts of Kamala Harris losing was that I thought that we were going to miss her speeches in which she showed everyone that she was just absolutely stupid. But she's still giving them. So good news. I want to play Kamala yesterday in Maryland. First, let's listen to her addressing her defeat. Watch.
The true test of our commitment is whether, in the face of an obstacle, do we throw up our hands or do we roll up our sleeves? And as we approach,
clap. It's cracking up.
And I would be remiss if we didn't play a good old-fashioned Kamala word salad from yesterday. Watch.
And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist.
Look at her. Look at her.
Yeah, I
Yep.
did that.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to miss her.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, having her as president would be disastrous. Vice president has been bad enough, but man.
Giving speeches, I'll take it all day.
Oh, we'll get
Maybe
it.
she can just do that.
We'll get it for the next governor of California, right there.
There we go.
She'll be all over the place. She'll be the next Newsom.
Well, I'm here to tell you, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered will be following that race very closely. We will be giving you all of the Kamala content that you're craving. And I am as well.
Here for you.